Oh, okay, you guys. Now we are in the second stage of our mastering skills for video game animation. That's the video game constraints themselves. All right, you guys. Video game industry has a lot of constraining due to the engine and the hardware that you are playing your art with. Displaying your art basically for the game. So let me open my lecture. I have a little lecture on that one. Alright. As I said earlier, that's the hardest thing in video game. Mainly, you guys, is basically animation for characters. We're not going to go through that in this class, but I'm going to give you that as an example so you understand how it works properly and what type of principle we need to follow and what type of rules we need to follow to have good video game animation. That's one of the characters of one of my latest game. It's the Fly DP. Okay, he's the king of crap on the island of Wabuba because he owns the only herd of cows, so he pick up all the crap and resell it to the farmers. Okay, and then after that he got attacked, so he has to get back his cows on his wings, so he's killing people. All right, classic frenzy killing type of rampage type of story. All right, you guys, I'm almost done with the first level, which at the end of when you're done with the first level in my situation, I'll probably be done with most of the game. It'll take me 3 weeks to do the rest at the end after that, because the first level basically is the whole coding infrastructure of the rest of the game. After that, just a matter of switching the art pretty much and tweaking the gameplay, but it's pretty much done after that, you know. So I'm pretty happy. I'm like 75–80% done with that game. I've been working for a year and a half. Be 2 years over the summer, all right, you guys, because I'm not full time on it, obviously, so I don't have much time. So let's look at all those rules. Now, first one, let's look at all the rules and we'll go in detail in the rules one after the others. Animation speed. We talked about that. The animation must be 60 frames per second. So 60 little drawing per second. Alright, you guys, doesn't get much deeper than that.
Older games are like 30 frames per second.
What?
Older games are like 30.
Yeah, well, there's still games today that are 30, 35, 40 frames per second, but you should be aiming for 60 FPS. Alright? And then it can slow down depending on the lag because you're multiplayers online, you know. A couple things, the weight of the scenery will slow it down and so forth, but you should be aiming for 60 FPS. Alright? Now, the second thing is the proper format and size. As we've seen before, there's different format from wide and not wide, 69th basically and 4/3, or standard definition SD or high definition HD. Depending on those, it works differently, so we need to be careful with that. We need to know that. We'll look at that really soon. Now, your animation needs to be seamless. That's 3. Your animation needs to be on a treadmill. That's 4. And your animation loops must be perfectly blending together. Now, the last one, your animation loops, aka clips, you guys, must be as small as possible. Okay? We want to keep it really tight. So let's go back to everything one after the others. Alright. It is important to run at 60 FPS, okay, to ensure that the game is fast enough to be fun. Alright, that it responds quickly, and then you go from one animation to the other. The transition is fairly quick. So it's a response type of situation. Okay, so we're working at 60 frames. To give you a little idea, PAL and SECAM are 25 frames per second. NTNC, which is the US format for TV, is 30 frames per second, okay? And the movie theater is at 24 frames per second. Now, format. It's very important to understand that. You did that before with me, you guys, between standard definition and obviously high definition. And the reason is because it changes the shape of rounded things. Something perfectly round will become oval and vice versa depending on the format. So you want to make sure you know that. Plus, remember we talked about the screen clipping. Alright, the safe area and so forth. You need to respect the safe area of your format basically. Number 5. We've been through those, so I'm going a little faster. Now that one's important. Animation must be a loop. Okay? It is very important. It doesn't matter if it's 2D or 3D animation. Animation for video game must be a loop. Okay, you guys? Why do they need to be a loop? Let me ask you something very quickly. What is the main difference for you guys between a video game and a movie? Like you watch on TV or in the movie theater? Interaction. That's the main thing. Alright? A movie is called linear. Alright? A video game is non-linear. It has interaction that has been decided by a group of people that creates the game. What type of interaction? But the player can decide whenever to actually trigger, whenever he wants to trigger that interaction. Meaning, he might want to be walking and we have his left foot forward when he shoots with his gun, or his right foot forward when he shoots with his gun. Alright? Or he might want to click when he's one foot in the air, you know. So because of that, the animation is not linear. So the way it works is that we create loops. So we make a loop of walking, which is basically an animation that never stops. It keeps running around and around the same way. Okay? That means we have frame 0 right here, frame 60 right there, let's say 1 second. Okay, you guys, actually frame 1 here. Alright? And then basically we keep playing it over and over and over and over. Alright? That's the trick. There is two real ways to actually create a loop. First of all, there's two types of loops. There is loops that needs to be seamless, and there is loops that do not need to be seamless. Can someone give me an example of a loop that doesn't need to be seamless?
Grenade.
A what? A grenade explosion, yes, exactly. Like a flash muzzle of a gun, that's the first frame is not the same as the last frame. Okay? So it doesn't need to be seamless. Now can someone give me the second example, which would be of something seamless that needs to be seamless as a loop? Walking, exactly. Why? Because the first frame needs to be the same as the last frame so they can interpolate properly and it keeps running, walking and walking. So let's talk about the one that needs to be seamless. The other is a given. All right, there's not much to know about it. All right, it's similar than anything, any other type of animation. Now to talk about the one. Actually, before I do that, let me quit right there.